Okay, good morning and welcome to today's CTE Lunch and Learn. I'm Amy Palacastro Schrader, the Career Development Consultant and CDC Liaison for the state. I'm happy that you're here today. Today is our final Lunch and Learn for this school year, and I'm going to pass it on over to Dr. Keisha Bryant to complete the introductions and let us move forward.
Good morning. I'm Keisha Bryant. I am the school counseling consultant here at DPI, a part of the Healthy Schools team, and so excited about this topic as I serve with one of our presenters, Gwen, on our North Carolina SEL team, and excited about how this particular topic helps us to produce students who are representative of the portrait of a graduate and helping them to be accessible to the most advantageous post-secondary outcomes with the durable skills and the things that employers want to see in 2024 and beyond. So I'm going to turn it over to our presenters today for them to introduce themselves, as I believe you are in for quite a special treat for today's topic.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And Keisha, you actually serve with both of us on the implementation team. Natalie is also a part of the team as well. So my name is Gwen Turner, and I am one of the Family and Consumer Sciences consultants. And also I do serve as one of the career and technical education representatives on the statewide social and emotional learning implementation team. And also presenting with me today is Natalie. So Natalie, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natalie Holbert. I am the elementary computer science, IT, and technology education consultant. I'd say I'm new, but I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary with DPI. And so I work with the CSIT team, and our job is to look at how to integrate computer science into, well, in the elementary space, integrate computer science into the K-5 curriculum. And then I also have another 2 guys that are on my team that work with the CTE courses for computer science at the middle school and high school level. So happy to be here today with you guys.
So today we're going to be focusing on how we blend SEL and CTE, which, if we really think about it, isn't that hard. CTE has been doing SEL since forever. And so it's a great opportunity to really look into what is SEL and CTE together. So first off, let's look at just in general, what is SEL? So social and emotional learning is kind of working with a larger group called CASEL, which stands for the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. It's helping to make evidence-based social and emotional learning an integral part of education from preschool through high school. So on the CASEL website, this is just a general definition. It's kind of shortened a little bit of what is social and emotional learning. And we're working on helping students acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions, and achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain supportive relationships, and make responsible and caring decisions. So if we look at those, we can see the North Carolina portrait of a graduate durable skills in that definition. So we are all aligned in various ways. Also, welcome to SEL Week. This week, March 4th through the 8th, 2024, is deemed the SEL Week, with the ending of the week being SEL Day is March 10th. So it's fitting that we are doing this on this week, so that way we can celebrate SEL Week. What you see here is the CASEL SEL framework. The 5 core competencies that you see in the very middle of this framework are for the SEL standards and can be established in all subjects and grades. Like I stated, CASEL does stand for Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. This is a collaboration amongst all of the states to kind of present this work forward for what is social and emotional learning. This wheel shows the outer rings, show how the implementation areas and partnerships can work together, establishing SEL implementation in the classroom, the school, in the home, community, allows for engagement and development of all 5 of those 5 CASEL competencies that are at the center. So what we'll be focusing on a lot today are these 5 competencies: self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. This is the heart of what is SEL, are these 5 competencies. Within SEL, CASEL also has the SEL 3 signature practices. These have recently gone through an update and the titles of them have changed just a little bit. They're still the same thing. It's just looked at in a different way. These practices can be used in every practice where SEL is vital to the group being serviced. So in a classroom, this will look like providing a space in the beginning where students can begin class in a welcoming environment to build connections through the inclusive welcome. Also, in engaging strategies is the heart of especially all CTE classes, connecting their learning to their own context to the real world, allowing for hands-on and interactive opportunities that engages all types of learners is vital to CTE. This is engaging strategies. An intentional close allows students to share their learning and how they engage with the content throughout the day. Also, these 3 signature practices can be reflective in your adult SEL practices as well. For example, in staff meetings that you may have. One of the examples from the CASEL SEL 3 signatures playbook, which I have linked down here at the bottom of this slide. There is an activity that is included that is called Greeting Frenzy in the inclusive welcome. So thinking about at the end of a long day, we're usually having staff meetings at the end of the day after everybody has just had a lot going on. The weight of the day is just living on their shoulders. So how do we get people engaged? Just like students walking into our classroom who have just gone through another class and that they have the weight of everything on their shoulders. So this Greeting Frenzy activity can be an opportunity for the staff in the staff meeting to take about 5-10 minutes to just interact with each other in a safe, welcoming environment. There's directions on how to interact with this or to incorporate this activity and how to make sure it works. And so there's a lot of different resources to use within that playbook that can be put into place with each of the inclusive welcome, engaging strategies, and intentional close. So these three signature practices can be used in the classroom, in staff meetings, and other things. I know in our office, we make sure to incorporate at least one of these 3 signature practices into our staff meetings when we get together so that we are practicing SEL even at our level. What you see here is the work of the statewide SEL implementation team that Keisha and Natalie and myself are all a part of. And what happens is we meet twice a month. One of the meetings is usually a working group meeting where each of the focus groups, which I'll show on the next slide, I believe, get together and kind of work on their work, their things that they have working forward. There's also another meeting that we have, which is a chance for us to come together and just collaborate and look at the work being done. So what you have on the screen is just some of the work that has been done that you can see, and then who is represented on this team as well. And this is also a link, so we're going to hand out this slide. You can also see this as well. The SEL implementation team does work within 4 focus areas, and we will see the foundational support plan, adult SEL, SEL for students is another one, and then always like communication and working forward. If you notice, I do have a yellow box around this one One of the key working components for the SEL for students in the coming year is to create a crosswalk for SEL competencies and portrait of a graduate durable skills. This is being worked on, and this is almost completed and hopefully will be released soon. So you can see how those portrait of a graduate skills are aligned with SEL and how they work together. So we're excited for that release coming soon. Also, I'll share this a little bit later on too. All of the SEL standards for each of the content areas has been updated. That was an important work for the SEL student working group as well. So now we'll move forward and look at, well, what is SEL, what do these competencies look like in CTE? Just a couple of things to note is SEL is very much needed in the workforce. In a couple of different articles, one in Education Week, this was published in 2021. The title of the article was "The Top U.S. Companies, These Are the Skills Needed in a Post-Pandemic World." And their summary of those skills was the employers wanted agility and flexibility, growth mindset and resilience, teamwork and collaboration, learning to learn. Each of these can be aligned to the SEL competencies. So agility and flexibility, we're going to see the need for self-management and responsible decision-making, your growth mindset, self-awareness, teamwork and collaboration, relationship skills, learn to learn needs social awareness, self-management, and pretty much all of them. Another time where we've seen employers say they need some different SEL needs is Indeed.com said the top 5 qualities employers look for in a candidate are ambition, communication, confidence, critical thinking, and dependability. So we cannot forget about these SEL competencies. We cannot forget about these because this is what employers are needing. This is what employers are asking for. We probably see this every day as we work with different employers, and career technical education is vitally important to not only our society, but also the incorporation of these SEL competencies. So what does it look like when we blend SEL and CTE? So career development is a huge piece. Career development does infuse those core SEL competencies. What you see on the career development continuum is that students are really putting in place these competencies. Through career exploration, they're becoming self-aware. By the career preparation, responsible decision-making. And then career participation later on, they're practicing those relationship skills as they are working in there, they're getting involved in their work-based learning opportunities. And some ideas is to fully blend this, is to be explicit about your career development efforts within the SEL realm. Specific recommendations for methods of integration into career development efforts is kind of being worked on by the different states. I have some resources later on about what's being done in this work, but start thinking about how you can be explicit in incorporating SEL into your efforts. Think about if you lead job shadowing, service learning, or through introduction to internships, or maybe even a career fair. How do you state the SEL competencies? How do you share what is being learned, what they're doing through these career development activities? So what does SEL and CTE look like? Within the Department of Public Instruction, like I said earlier, all of our content areas, so we're looking at the arts, math, science, all of them have a standards alignment document. And those recently went through an update in 2023 and have been released. So all of our standards alignment documents have been updated. Also for new this year, and Natalie will share later, is that within CTE, we added a separate document for computer science because it incorporates the elementary space as well. So some of that can look a little different. And so we do have a CTE standards alignment document. And what that looks like is not just focusing on one program area within CTE, because we go from having family and consumer sciences to trades and industry to business, finance, and marketing. So this document could be very lengthy if we really outlined every single course. So the route we took with this standards document is looking at lesson activity and teaching practices within the CTE courses that could be done in any of our courses. So you can see on the screen, there are a few lesson activity samples that I kind of pulled from this document, and it's based off of each of those competencies. So a self-awareness activity could be asking students to identify their own personal strengths and weaknesses that they like to work on. And this can be done in various areas in different ways. In one of the courses that I work with, counseling and mental health, we learn about communication strategies. So maybe they're going to look at what are some of the communication strategies that they could develop and work on. It could be in culinary arts and hospitality, or in hospitality and tourism, guest services. Maybe they have some personal strengths in how they interact with others and weaknesses in how they interact with others. So they're going to become self-aware of those and really have reflection on those. In teaching practice, they're going to be looking at for self-management, giving students authentic feedback for self-management. So like you can see, I saw the way you got ready to give your presentation just now. So as a teacher, making sure that I am authentic in what feedback I give to students, making it personal, making them feel valued to help them understand that self-management. Most of our CTE teachers do this anyway. And in this case, we're being intentional about using that in the SEL realm. These are just a few of the examples. There are lots of examples that are on the standard document. I just pulled out a few of them. Within the standard alignment document, a few of our program area consultants have gone through and looked at how they see this aligned with their standards and their courses. So the competency alignment is aligned to these courses that you see on the screen. And they have put through some of the standards and different things that show this is how you're going to use this in this course. Also, I wouldn't be a family and consumer sciences consultant if I didn't specifically call out family and consumer sciences. Within, just in general, family and consumer sciences is all SEL. We have this focus on human and family development, on relationships. SEL is at the forefront of all of our courses. One of our courses is the counseling and mental health course, and this can be SEL. Students will learn about what is SEL, can look at some of the resources from the CASTLE framework and incorporate that into the classroom. That is a perfect blend right there of SEL and CTE. Now we're going to get to look at our new to the SEL realm is the computer science. And how is this working and what is the standards alignment document? So Natalie, I'm going to let you take it over.
Thank you, Gwen. So I went through, and as Gwen said, we have a new computer science is now broken out into the elementary space. And so I went through and wanted to just highlight how we actually have all the individual standards pulled out to each component and competency. So we've pulled out some of the key pieces, the key standards that we felt like met each component. So for self-awareness, they're going to be talking about basically digital citizenship and their digital footprint and how to basically be safe on the computer, knowing the difference between private and personal information and knowing when to use that and when to give that out. So we have several kindergarten through second grade standards. We have a 3 through 5 standard, and we have 2 K-8 standards that meet this competency. Next one, Gwen, for me. Thank you. For the self-management, this specifically talks about being able to manage their stress and controlling impulses. And so a lot of times it's problem solving. So we identified 4 standards here, a kindergarten 3, 5, 6, 8, and then introduction to computer science, which is usually your high school intro courses and about problem solving, decomposing problems within smaller components, systematic analysis, and sometimes that's also referred to as computational thinking, which is a big hot topic right now in computer science and across math and science. So it can be integrated into your core curriculum as well. Then for social awareness, it's being aware of others. And so we have a lot of these are what I say when I say our older kids, even 3, 5. We've got 2 standards that meet the 3, 5, 2 standards within 6, 8, and then we have 2 standards that are introduction to computer science as well, talking about influence and impact and just being aware of the safety laws and ethics when dealing with computer science and how to also just be safe on the computer. We have relationship skills. The competencies for relationship is being able to communicate, listen well, communicate with others, negotiate conflict constructively, and so being able to receive constructive feedback, that's always important. We have 2 that are in the K-5 space, and then we have 2 that are in the middle school realm, and then again, we have the introduction to computer science where you're developing computational artifacts, working in teams, in groups. And that is one of those things that the industry is always talking about. Can they collaborate? Can they work together in teams? And that's one of those portrait of graduate skills that they definitely want us to, that are graduating our kids to be able to do. And then responsible decision making. This was more for the middle school and high school level. Not that we're not encouraging it and teaching it in the elementary space, we are always. But as far as the standards that align with that, it's more about program incorporating feedback from users and computing impacts in the personal and ethical and social economic practices and so forth in our intro to computer science.
All right, thank you, Natalie, for doing that, sharing that. And so just a few things to note about SEL and CTE resources that a lot of these I utilize to help with information for today. And the NCDPI Social and Emotional Learning website is a great resource for anything you need to know about what's going on in the SEL space in North Carolina. There are many groups that work within SEL, and they're all put on this website. You can also see educator resources, information about school mental health, things for families and caregivers, just a lot of resources that can be used, a lot linked directly to the Castle website. And so that way you don't have to go rummaging through that website to find some of those resources. Another one, another couple of things that I found is the State SEL and Workforce Initiative through Castle. This is an initiative that is being worked on. And I know that there is a statewide collaboration to develop a framework, and that's the bottom link right there, is a framework for the integration of SEL and career technical education, basically, through that career development and those career development opportunities. So there's even work being done within the CASEL, the national organization that works with SEL within CTE. And so that should hopefully be coming soon and be forthcoming. And so, but like we said, SEL and CTE, they go hand in hand. We've been doing SEL for years. Also, I have linked up there the SEL and CTE standards mapping, so you can see our standards document and some different ideas for teachers to incorporate SEL into their classroom. I know a lot of times we will hear from teachers, and I heard it when I was in the classroom, oh, SEL is just another thing I have to do. But it's not another thing. You're already doing it. It's being intentional through your interactions with students, through your teaching practices and your instructional activities that you're already doing, making sure you're incorporating intentionally those SEL competencies and being aware of how you're developing their social awareness, their self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, and their relationship skills. So it's already something we can be integrating into the classroom. And then also the new SEL and computer science standards. And so thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions about any of the things that we shared today, my information, my email is up there. Natalie's is up there. I know it's kind of hard to see you fully. But if you have any questions or anything, please let us know.
Thank you, Gwen and Natalie. Great information, valuable resources, and we are doing it already, aren't we? This is just a nice cheat sheet, so to speak. And I love the spiral, the circle in the beginning that you shared. Is there any way to go back to that in your PowerPoint, just to have that up?
Yes. Let me see.
That might help in reflection for everybody related to the support and the framework of SEL. I really do appreciate you also bringing in the Portrait of a Graduate durable skills.
Yes.
It all overlaps. It's definitely not a siloed effort or a siloed initiative, so to speak, as you mentioned. It's all
And then
interacted.
the Portrait of a Graduate crosswalk with SEL competencies has been a main work of the student focus area. And they're almost there. I think we're just waiting on some approvals so that it can be released. So be on the lookout for that. That is another document from the SEL implementation team that will be coming forward to just make sure that this work does show alignment.
I would imagine, I don't want to assume that would also be on the SEL site and the Portrait of Graduate site. What do you think?
Keisha, do you know that? Because I think that's your working group.
Yeah, so we are hoping it will be definitely be on the SEL website. We've met with the Portrait of a Graduate leadership to, so we're waiting on clearance to see where it will be from senior leadership, but it definitely will be on the SEL website as an educator resource to be able to show how it aligns across with those 7 competencies in regards to CASEL as well.
Thank
So we're
you.
excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Are there any questions? What questions do you have for our presenters today? Thoughts, sharing of how you can use information for your work. We have CDCs, SBCs, and we've got, I shared this out with some career management teachers too. So I think I'm looking at some names. We've got some in the room. And I see some district CTE folks who popped in and out.
So I would like to ask for the school counselors and the CDCs and how are you all collaborating now in utilizing SEL and blending it with CTE? So as school counselors, we are responsible for 3 domains with the academic, social, emotional, and career. And as a practicing school counselor, I had a wonderful relationship with my career development coordinator, Frank Reed. I always give him a shout out in spaces. But what are you doing now in your districts to collaborate with your career development coordinators and your CTE stakeholders in the building. I like the way Gwen talked about how family and consumer science and how SEL is already infused in many of the CTE courses that we offer students. The way that we just saw how it's infused into computer science was eye-opening for me. I hadn't even thought about digital citizenship as a way to see SEL integrated with CTE. So if you can put in the chat ways that you are infusing it now, that would be great for us to hear. Thank you, Liz.
I really appreciate that, Liz's comment. And Gwen, I think you mentioned that, right? We never know. We never know what's walking in the room, what's going on in people's lives and our students. I've often, you hear some comments about this in the school system isn't necessarily the real world sometimes. And there's nothing more real than working with students in the emotions and the reality of some things that go on. It is a microcosm of true society.
Yeah.
We never
And
know.
SEL can be something as simple as what Liz just shared, as just being intentional about practicing kindness to others. And that goes to your relationship skills, making sure that through kindness, they're practicing those relationship skills.
Yeah. And to your point, when you mentioned when you're speaking, when a student presents, I saw how you prepared. I saw the effort you made and saw you. Yeah. Keisha, it looks like you're getting some responses in the chat.
Yes, Susan said that the counselors are sharing SEL lessons that can be incorporated school-wide. And so as you can see, even in incorporating it school-wide, the data that Gwen and Natalie shared is that what employers are looking for are a lot of they're not looking for technical skills. They're looking for these human skills. So collaboration, critical thinking, teamwork, flexibility, growth mindset, and resilience. And so how can we parallel that and show students those transferable skills across all domains for the academic and non-academic skills that we're building? Working with advising teams for student SEL lessons. I love it. Allowing students to feel comfortable.
To piggyback on what you shared too, one of the things that we do in our jobs is we work with business and industry and post-secondary partners to work on when we develop our standards for our courses. What do we need to incorporate? And just recently I went through that with the hospitality and tourism management pathway. And what I got from these groups was not, when I asked them, well, what do you want students to do when they graduate? It was not heavy on math skills or how to work a computer or this or that. It was, we just want them to be able to communicate with their manager, to be able to interact with a guest in a polite, respectful way, to be able to just complete work in a timely manner, all those kinds of things. What they wanted was SEL. It was not skill per se. They wanted us to teach them SEL. So continue on, sir.
Thank you. And I think one of the things that I like that with you all showing the overlap with the computer science standards is COVID pushed us into a more digital world. And so, Natalie, I learned to just even how SEL is relevant there. So our students now in their time period have access to communicate with people globally. And so we don't have as much in person, but the human skills that we still can utilize globally in a digital world, which is where we are. We do a lot of things hybrid. This is hybrid. And so how do we function and how do we see those skills infused even in these virtual spaces? So I think it's very relevant with SEL and how it could be just infused across many different domains.
I really liked what Pamela shared in the chat, that the CT teachers and counselors are helping students learn to respond and not react. I really like that. I think that's
Yeah.
important.
I do too. And the second part of that, it's just as valuable. You know, we're helping students choose electives in the area of interest that take value. So they have value in that and they're more engaged, and celebrating them up ahead. Melissa mentioned that, celebrating them in their, and that they're comfortable in their career decisions and highlighting them. Every little bit counts, right? We can get very focused in the job and the function. And if I wrap myself out, I'm definitely one that does that. And my team members here, before getting ready, I'm getting ready. I'm like, wait a minute, I need to stop and just, hey, how are we doing? And just connect personally. Sometimes that's just a little bit of what it is, just a little personal connection.
And
So
I
great.
would like to say that this is a collaborative effort.
Mhm.
So school-wide, someone put a comment about SEL being infused school-wide. So in your buildings, I want you to think about, how are you collaborating? How can you collaborate better after this presentation? So for there is a new career development plan that has been put in legislation that is pushing us to collaborate even more as partners for the career readiness and the post-secondary success for all students. So partnering with our CTE stakeholders, partnering with our career development coordinators, partnering with your school counselors. How do we work together for the ultimate post-secondary success, so that we are producing those portrait of the graduate students in the state of North Carolina? And so this is a collaborative effort to be able to see SEL school-wide. It takes us all working together and not working in silos. So I really want to challenge you to, as you think about planning for the upcoming school year, what ways can you collaborate even more across your building with your CTE people, with your school counselors, with your career development coordinators, and any others, with your special populations coordinators here. Let's talk, let's collaborate, and let's work for the ultimate good of producing the best students that we can here in the state of North Carolina.
And this framework that you see is a true representation of what that is, how all of these areas come together to put the competencies in place. It shouldn't just be one teacher in the building. It should be everybody in the building and out of the building working towards this. If we're going to we're going to have responsible citizens from our students in the future.
One last call for thoughts, sharing, how you might consider incorporating this or focusing on SEL a little bit more in CTE and in your work in the schools with students. Not seeing anything else come in. Gwen and Natalie, thank you so much for preparing this, for sharing your time today and the resources. And everybody in the room, thank you for taking the time to sit back and just consider what SEL is. It's SEL and CTE, collaborating and how we can work to have this all around us. Thank you for attending, everybody. Thank you for all that you do. Keisha, you want to do a final wrap up?
Just want to thank everyone for attending. I want to give a special thanks to Natalie and Gwen, and I work together with the NCSEL implementation team and just the importance of this work. So thank you for the mixed crowd that we have here. This is what we want to see it be like in the buildings for us working together. So I cannot emphasize just the collaboration. So let's talk to each other. I like that last point made by Pam, like Gwen said, working together as a team to help students and giving student voice and student agency, because they are the graduates that we are producing. So let's keep working together so that we can see ultimate success for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody have a great day.